I found messages on her Apple Watch. I'm sitting here at 3 in the morning, hands still shaking, staring at an Apple Watch that just blew up my entire relationship. Look, I need to tell someone about this because if I don't get it out, I'm going to lose my mind. My name's not important, but I'm 26, and up until about 72 hours ago, I thought I had my life pretty figured out. I had a girlfriend of 3 years, someone I genuinely loved, someone I trusted completely. Her name was, let's just call her Maya. She's 24. We met through mutual friends at a rooftop party back in college, and honestly, those first 2 years were some of the best of my life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we were perfect. No relationship is. We had our arguments, our moments where we drove each other crazy, but at the end of the day, we always came back to each other. We talked about the future, you know? Not in that vague someday way, but actual plans. Where we'd move once our leases were up, what kind of dog we'd get, whether we'd do Thanksgiving with her family or mine. Real stuff. But let me back up because you need to understand how we got here. Maya, and I clicked from day one. She had this laugh that could light up a room, this way of making even the most boring Tuesday night feel like an adventure. We'd stay up until 2 in the morning just talking about random stuff, philosophy, conspiracy theories, what we'd do if we won the lottery. She was smart, ambitious, working her way up in marketing while I was grinding through my own career in tech sales. We supported each other, or at least I thought we did. The first year was incredible. We were in that honeymoon phase where everything feels electric, but even after that wore off, things stayed solid. Sure, we had our first real fight around month 14, something stupid about her spending too much time with her coworkers and not enough with me. But we worked through it. We learned how to communicate better, how to give each other space when needed. I thought we were building something real. Year 2 brought more challenges. I got laid off from my job, which sent me into a spiral of anxiety and self-doubt. Maya was there every single night, telling me I'd find something better, helping me practice for interviews, even offering to cover more of the rent until I got back on my feet. When I finally landed a better position, she planned this whole surprise celebration with my closest friends. I remember thinking, this is it. This is the person I'm supposed to be with. Year 3 started off strong too. We moved in together officially, got a place in a better part of town, started acting like a real adult couple. But then, around September, everything in my life started falling apart in a way I couldn't have predicted. My dad had a stroke. It happened suddenly. One day, he was fine, texting me about a football game, and the next day, I got a call from my mom, barely able to speak, telling me he'd collapsed at work and was being rushed to the hospital. The doctors weren't sure if he was going to make it through the first night. I'm not going to lie, I completely fell apart. My dad and I have always been close. He's the guy who taught me how to throw a baseball, how to change a tire, how to treat people with respect. The idea of losing him was something I couldn't even process. Maya knew all of this. She saw me in my absolute lowest, crying in the middle of the night, skipping meals because I was too anxious to eat, spending every spare moment at the hospital. And to her credit, at least in the beginning, she seemed supportive. She'd bring me food, sit with me in those terrible hospital waiting rooms, tell me everything was going to be okay. My dad stabilized after that first week, but he wasn't out of the woods. He needed multiple surgeries, physical therapy, constant monitoring. The doctors said it would be months before they knew the full extent of the damage. So basically, from September through December, my life became a rotation of work, hospital, sleep, repeat. I was exhausted, emotionally drained, running on fumes. Maya and I still saw each other, but I'll admit I wasn't the best boyfriend during this time. I was distracted, stressed, probably not as present as I should have been. But she never complained. She kept saying, I understand, take care of your dad. I'm here for you. I appreciated that more than I could put into words. Then came the holidays. Maya's family does this big trip every year between Christmas and New Year's. They rent a house somewhere warm, usually Mexico or the Caribbean, and the whole extended family goes. It's a tradition she's told me about since we first started dating. Normally, I would have gone with her, but given everything with my dad, I told her I needed to stay back. She understood, or at least she said she did. Right before she left, maybe 2 or 3 days before Christmas, we had one of the best weeks we'd had in months. My dad had a good stretch where he was lucid and talking, which lifted this massive weight off my shoulders. Maya and I spent that time together, really together. We went to our favorite Italian place, watched movies on the couch, made love like we used to. She was affectionate, constantly touching my arm, leaning her head on my shoulder, telling me how much she loved me. The night before her flight, we stayed up late talking. She told me she'd miss me, that she wished I could come, that she'd text me every day and send pictures. I kissed her goodbye at the door the next morning, watched her Uber pull away, and genuinely felt lucky to have her. She was gone for about 10 days total. The first few days, everything seemed normal. She'd send me photos of the beach, videos of her little cousins playing in the pool, messages about how the food was amazing, but she missed me. I'd respond when I could, usually late at night after leaving the hospital. I noticed her replies were getting a bit shorter, but I figured she was just busy with family stuff. Then, around New Year's Eve, the messages slowed down even more. I sent her a Happy New Year text at midnight my time, which would have been like 11 her time, and didn't hear back for hours. When she finally responded, it was just Happy New Year, babe. Love you. No call, no FaceTime like we talked about. I felt a little weird about it, but again, I told myself she was probably just drunk with her family or something. When she got back home, that's when I really noticed a shift. We were supposed to meet up the day after she landed. I was excited to see her, to hear all about the trip, to just have her back. But when I texted asking when she'd be free, she said she was super tired and needed a day to recover. Okay, fine, jet lag is real. But then the next day, same thing. And the day after that, when we finally did see each other, maybe 3 days after she got back, something was off. She was distant. She barely looked me in the eye. When I tried to hug her, she kind of just stood there. No guodums, no entusiasm. I asked her if everything was okay, and she said, yeah, I'm just tired from the trip. But it wasn't just tiredness. Her text became shorter, drier. She stopped using emojis, stopped saying, I love you, unless I said it first. When I try to make plans, she'd say she was busy with work or needed alone time. I started to feel like I was bothering her just by existing. I kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe the trip made her realize she needed more space. Maybe I'd been too needy during my dad's health crisis. Maybe she was going through her own stuff and just didn't know how to talk about it. I asked her multiple times, are we okay? Did I do something wrong? And every time she'd say, no, everything's fine, I just need some space right now. Then, about a week and a half after she got back, she broke up with me. It was over the phone, which should have been my first clue that something was seriously wrong. We'd been together 3 years, and she couldn't even do it in person. I was at home, exhausted from another long day at the hospital, when my phone rang. Hey, she said, and I could hear it in her voice immediately. That tone people use when they're about to ruin your life. Hey, what's up? I asked, my stomach already dropping. I need to talk to you about something, she said. Long pause. I don't think I can do this anymore. I sat there in silence for what felt like an eternity. Do what? I finally asked, even though I knew exactly what she meant. Us. The relationship. I need space. I need to figure out what I want, and I don't think I can do that while we're together. I was stunned. Where's this coming from? We were fine before you left. What happened? Nothing happened, she said quickly. Too quickly. I've just been thinking a lot, and I don't think this is working anymore. We talked for maybe 20 more minutes. She kept saying things like, it's not you, it's me, and you're an amazing person, and I just need to focus on myself right now. All the classic breakup lines that people use when they're lying. I try to understand, try to be mature about it, but inside I was falling apart. My dad was still in the hospital, barely stable, and now the person I thought would be there for me through it all was walking away. The call ended with her saying she needed time and space, and that maybe someday we could try again, but for now this was goodbye. I hung up and just sat there on my couch, completely numb. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her. A long one. It was one of those messages that's clearly been drafted and redrafted, where every word is chosen carefully to sound caring and thoughtful. I just want you to know that you are one of the most incredible people I've ever met. You've been so supportive and loving, and I'm so grateful for everything we've shared. You deserve someone who can give you their whole heart, and right now, I can't be that person. I hope you understand. I'll always care about you. I read it like 5 times, trying to make sense of it. It sounded so loving, so genuine. Part of me wanted to believe that maybe she really was just going through something and needed space. But another part of me, that gut instinct you get when something doesn't add up, kept nagging at me. A few days later, we met in person so she could grab some of her stuff she'd left at my place. I suggested we do it all at once, a clean break, but she said she wanted to do it gradually, that she wasn't ready to fully cut ties yet. She even said, "I still want to be friends. You mean too much to me to just disappear from your life." I was hesitant about the whole let's be friends thing because, honestly, I wasn't over her. But I agreed, thinking maybe it would help me get closure or something. We planned for her to come by later that week to pick up the rest of her things. In the meantime, I was trying to hold my life together. My dad was still in rough shape, I was barely sleeping, and now I was dealing with heartbreak on top of everything else. I felt like I was drowning. Then came last night. I still had Maya's Apple Watch. She'd left it at my place months ago because the battery was dying and she kept forgetting to take it to get fixed. After the breakup, I figured I'd just charge it up and get it back to her when she came to get her stuff. It seemed like the decent thing to do. So I plugged it in, set it on my nightstand, and went to make some food. When I came back, the screen was lit up with notifications. Messages. A lot of them. At first, I wasn't going to look. I'm not the type to go through someone's phone or invade their privacy like that. But one of the notifications caught my eye. It was from a contact saved as just a first name, some guy I'd never heard of, and the preview said, "Can't wait to see you in New York." My heart started racing. I picked up the watch, telling myself I was just going to dismiss the notifications and move on. But I couldn't. That gut feeling I mentioned earlier, it was screaming at me. I unlocked the watch. Her passcode was the same as it always was, our anniversary month and day. The messages opened, and what I saw made my blood run cold. There were dozens of texts between her and this guy. I scrolled up to see when they started. They began on December 28th, right in the middle of her family trip. The first few messages were innocent enough. "Hey, it was nice meeting you tonight." "Yeah, you too. Your family seems really fun." Standard stuff you'd say to someone you just met. But then within like 2 days, it escalated fast. "I can't stop thinking about last night," she wrote. "Me neither," he responded. "I wish you didn't have to leave so soon." "I know, but I'll be back home in a few days. Maybe we can stay in touch." "Definitely. I like that a lot." I kept scrolling, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped the watch. January 1st, New Year's Day. Happy New Year. I hope last night was as amazing for you as it was for me. What the hell did that mean? What happened on New Year's? January 3rd, after she'd been back home. I can't wait to visit you in New York. You're serious? You come all the way here. Of course. You're not mad that I invited myself, right? LOL. Are you kidding? I'd love to see you. What are you thinking? Maybe next month? I'll check flights this week. I felt like I was going to throw up. She was planning trips to see this guy. Trips she never mentioned to me. Trips she was probably planning while telling me she needed space to figure out what she wanted. But it got worse. There was a message from January 2nd that absolutely gutted me. I wish I'd stayed the whole night, but my family was happy to see me in the morning. She stayed the night with him, while we were still together, while my dad was in the hospital fighting for his life. While I was sitting at home, alone, trusting her completely. I took screenshots of everything. I don't even know why. Maybe for proof. Maybe because part of me couldn't believe what I was seeing and needed evidence that it was real. The most recent messages were from just yesterday. They were still talking, still making plans, still acting like they were in some kind of new, exciting relationship. And meanwhile, she'd sent me that long, heartfelt text about how much I meant to her and how she just needed to focus on herself. It all made sense now. The distance after the trip, the breakup, the insistence on staying friends. She wanted to keep me around as a backup while she explored things with this new guy she'd met. And the worst part? She was doing it all while pretending to care about me, while acting like she was being honest and mature. I barely slept last night. I kept going through the messages over and over, trying to find some other explanation, some way to interpret them that didn't involve her cheating on me and lying to my face. But there wasn't one. This morning, I woke up to even more messages from Reddit after I'd posted about this late last night, just a vent. People were telling me to confront her, to expose her to her friends, to blow up her whole world the way she'd blown up mine. And honestly, part of me wants to do exactly that. But the rational part of me, the part that's barely holding it together, knows that's not the move. What's the point? She's already gone. Confronting her won't change what she did. It won't take back the nights she spent with him while I was at the hospital. It won't erase the fact that she looked me in the eye and lied. So here's what I've decided to do. I'm supposed to see her tomorrow. She's coming to pick up her stuff. But I'm not going to be there. I'm packing all her things in bags right now. Every single item she left here. Her books, her clothes, that stupid ceramic mug she loved. All of it. I'm going to write a note, something short and to the point, letting her know I found the messages and that I know everything. Then I'm going to drop it all off at her place and be done with it. I don't need a dramatic confrontation. I don't need to hear her excuses or apologies or whatever bullshit story she'd come up with to try to justify what she did. I know the truth, and that's enough. As for the guy, I have his number from the messages. I'm debating whether to give him a heads up about who he's actually getting involved with. Not out of spite, but just so he knows what kind of person she really is. Maybe he deserves to know. Maybe I just want him to feel even a fraction of what I'm feeling right now. I haven't decided yet. And her friends? The ones who think she's this amazing, honest person? I'm not going to blast her in a group chat or anything like that. But if I run into them around town, if they ask what happened, I'm not going to lie for her. She made her choices. She can deal with the consequences. Right now, my focus needs to be on my dad. He's been in the hospital for months, and he's the one who actually needs me. Not her, not this situation, not any of the drama that comes with it. My dad is fighting every day just to recover, and I need to be there for him the way Maya pretended to be there for me. The hardest part about all of this isn't even the cheating, as messed up as that sounds. It's the timing. She did this while I was at my most vulnerable. While I was barely holding my life together, worrying about whether my father would survive, she was off starting something with someone new. And then she had the audacity to come back, tell me she loved me, break up with me gently like she was doing me some kind of favor, all while hiding the real reason behind it all. That's what I can't get past. The cruelty of it. The cowardice. If she'd just been honest, if she'd said, I met someone else and I need to end things, it would have hurt, but at least it would have been the truth. Instead, she made me question myself, made me wonder what I did wrong, made me feel like I wasn't enough, all while knowing exactly why she was pulling away. I keep thinking about all the little moments I missed, all the signs I should have seen, the way she was so eager for me to stay back during her trip, the way she barely called me on New Year's. The way she seemed almost relieved when I said I understood her needing space. It's like I was watching a movie where I already knew the ending, but I was too caught up in the plot to see it coming. People keep asking me if I'm angry. Honestly, I don't even know what I feel right now. There's anger, sure, but there's also just this deep sadness, this sense of betrayal that goes beyond just the cheating. I trusted her completely. I would have done anything for her. And she threw it all away for some guy she met on a vacation. What kills me is that I'll never really know the full truth. I'll never know if she planned this, if she went on that trip hoping to meet someone, or if it just happened. I'll never know if she felt guilty or if she justified it to herself somehow. And honestly, I don't think I want to know. Some questions don't have answers that make you feel better. So tomorrow, or maybe the next day, once I've calmed down a bit more, I'll drop her stuff off. I'll send that text to the guy if I decide it's worth it. And then I'll do my best to move on. It won't be easy. 3 years doesn't just disappear overnight. There will be moments where I forget and reach for my phone to text her something funny, or where I'll see something that reminds me of her and feel that punch to the gut all over again. But I'll get through it, because at the end of the day, I deserve better than someone who could do this. I deserve someone who will be there for me during the hard times, not someone who uses them as an opportunity to move on while keeping me in the dark. I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect. And Maya? She showed me exactly who she is when things get tough. She showed me that her words mean nothing when they're not backed up by her actions. She showed me that she's capable of looking someone in the eye and lying without flinching. That's not the kind of person I want in my life. Not as a partner, not as a friend, not even as an acquaintance. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Sitting here at 3 in the morning, looking at an Apple Watch that just destroyed 3 years of my life, trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces and move forward. If anyone's reading this and going through something similar, here's what I'd tell you. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore the red flags just because you love someone. Don't make excuses for behavior that doesn't align with someone's words. And most importantly, know your worth. You deserve someone who chooses you, especially when things get hard. As for me, I'm going to pack these bags, write that note, and start the process of closing this chapter of my life. My dad needs me, and I need to be there for him with a clear head and a heart that's ready to heal. Maya made her choice. Now I'm making mine. And my choice is to walk away with my dignity intact, knowing that I gave everything I had to someone who didn't deserve it, but learning from it so I never make that mistake again. That's my story. That's my case. And honestly, I'm just glad I found out now rather than years down the line when we were even more intertwined. Small mercies, I guess. Anyway, I should try to get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day.